Take this job and shove it. I ain't working here no more. Everybody's working for the weekend. Taking care of business every day. Now it's wow, welcome to the working week.
Working 9 to 5, what a way to make a living.
Minimum wage.
Okay, welcome to another monthly edition of The Working Lunch. I'm your host, Jeff Turgeon from the Central Mass Workforce Investment Board, and with me as usual...
Yeah, Sean McGauley, also from the Central Mass Workforce Investment Board. I noticed you had your radio voice on right from the back.
That's
right
right.
From the start.
There you go. Well, for those that aren't familiar, too, the Central Mass Workforce Investment Board is the board that oversees the public workforce system in Worcester and 37 surrounding communities in central Massachusetts. So, and as part of that effort, as you know, we oversee a fairly large summer jobs program. About 350 youth this summer will be taking part. So we've got a lot going on.
It's a big group.
These days, got a lot going on.
Is that's slightly down from last year's numbers? Or is that...
It's about the same as last
about
year.
the same?
Yeah, about the same. We were lucky enough to have funding come through the state again for the program to support that. So it gets young people, basically 14 to 21, onto a job site and learning hands-on how to go about, the world of work.
Yeah.
So it gives them a paid experience, 20 to 25 hours a week for 7 weeks during the summer. So it accomplishes a lot of things too, right? I mean, it gets kids not only earning a paycheck in their pocket and learning those great things, also keeps them busy and helps out the organizations that they're working for.
Now, a lot of these youth, this is their first job experience ever, or some of them have experience?
Yeah, some maybe come to it, maybe their second year in the program. Others have worked other jobs, but probably a good third to half, this is their first paid work experience.
Wow.
So, and they're doing, a lot of diverse things out there with, between public agencies or nonprofits or for-profit companies. They're doing a lot of different things out there. So.
Yeah, and I know the team likes to match the youth with something that's appropriate for
and
them.
our camera person today.
YouthWorks.
So
Excellent.
There you go. So that's how it all kind of comes together, right? So, I know one of our partners in the program has been Future Focus Media, right? So we have as a guest today in studio, Cedric Arno is going to come and talk about the program and
they have an event, I think, coming up, right?
And they've got a very big event coming up that we want to talk about. Why don't you come here? Yeah. So Cedric, how's everything going?
Good afternoon, everybody. It's going wonderful. I was just on the road doing my basically my publicity tour. I just came from Fitchburg and Leominster, giving out the flyers. We wound up being on another radio program out there. So I'm pretty busy, and I'm on the mayor's show tomorrow talking about this.
Excellent. So you're spreading the word. You're
Yes.
out there promoting it. That's great.
I thought there was only one radio program.
This is the best radio program.
God.
There were some that are trying to get to the level that you guys are at. So I thank you for bestowing the honor upon me to be here today.
Well, tell us about the event you have going on.
Well, this event is actually an annual event that's been going on for the last 4 years, and this one is sponsored. I have to say, sponsored by Worcester Arts Council through Mass Cultural Council and Mass Humanities, and it is What to the Slave is the 4th of July. It's actually an oratory reading of Frederick Douglass's speech of the same title that he did, I believe, in 1862. So this is a event that basically talks about what Frederick Douglass described as the hypocrisy of the institutions of the United States toward the slave during that era. And some people try to change the name to What to the Negro is the 4th of July, but this was directed to the slave during the 1800s.
So this harkens back to his address of the same name that was taking place in 1862. That's right during the Civil War.
That was right before the Civil War, because one of the things that that this speech kind of championed is for Abraham Lincoln to issue the Emancipation Proclamation to get us into the war, and then from there to get blacks who were slaves or who were fighting for freedom coming up from the South to join the Union to be soldiers. So
this
was
predates the proclamation.
the Emancipation Proclamation.
Emancipation Proclamation.
You're right.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
And so, tell us about the event itself happening. Where, when, and all that.
Okay, it's going to be July 1st. It starts at 11:30. It's a program that we have some special guests involved. We have Orphanage Movement, which is a dance group for youth. They're going to start off the program. We have the city manager comes on at 12, who will do the welcome from the city.
Great.
Boston had a big thing last year where they were, the top of the line because they had Deval Patrick.
Sure.
So I was like, well, who could we get that tops Deval Patrick?
You've got President Obama coming.
I wish he was number 3 on the list, but my number 2 guy was former Democratic Party Chairman John Walsh. So he said he would come. So he was actually Deval Patrick's boss at the time when this reading went on last year as the party chairman. So we got the party chairman. He actually resigned, but he said he could come down for us to be a part of
excellent.
this. Yes.
And so where's it taking place?
It's going to be at Worcester City Hall Common, now renamed Paul Mullaney Plaza. After the former mayor. So the new name of the plaza is Paul Mullaney, but it is the Worcester City Hall Common in the back of City Hall where they have all of the, I believe they have the movie night there now. They have the Worcester, the Go to Lunch campaigns where you can come out for the concert series during the daytime. So this is an event that we're trying to promote for people to come out during the day. And it's a reading. It's a wonderful experience where people gather around and read. I mean, there's no flashing lights. There's no big booming system. It's just people coming together to read.
And this is an annual event that you do.
Right.
In commemoration of this. Is this the 4th year?
This is the 4th year here for Worcester. Boston, like I said, has been doing it. Springfield does it. Lowell, Lawrence area, they do one. So we're trying to get this going, and we're hoping young people come out. One of the things that we're trying to target is the theme of this year is passing the torch. So we would like to pass the torch physically to some young people who will get this going, and also metaphorically that the Constitution was made for the Republic of the United States. Black people were not included in the Constitution, but the Founding Fathers made it so that way when the people change, the Constitution can change with the different amendments. So this is a culmination of that, telling people there's a hypocrisy going on. You have to stand up if you want to change the way this republic is, and that is why people should vote. And sometimes you don't vote people into office, you vote them out. And this is something that we're trying to, it's a civic engagement. So we want people to be involved in their civic duty. And sometimes you show up, you stand up, and you speak up. And this is an example of that.
I love it. Show up, stand up, speak up. And that's what it's all about, right? It's democracy and action. And it ties in the historical aspect, helping people understand their heritage.
Right.
And just our country's history in general.
And this thing is, in Worcester, so many people probably don't know that Worcester is one of those places that was instrumental in the abolitionist movement. Mm-hmm. We have Reverend Wright's church down the block here on Main Street where Frederick Douglass actually spoke. So he was here in Worcester. I mean, Susan B. Anthony was here in Worcester. We have Abigail Kelly, as far as people know, she was an abolitionist here in Worcester too. So it's like, if you know a little bit about your history, you will get engaged to know more about it, because the city of Worcester is a historical place if you want to learn about it. Yeah. And that is something that we're trying to do too. We're trying to get people to learn their history, be engaged in what's going on now so they could determine their future.
Excellent. Well, thanks for coming on and telling us about
Thank you for having me.
How's everything going on at Future Focus Media?
Oh, man, we have so many young people. I stand outside because we're at 4 King Street now, where is the Stone Stoop building. We were had a fire before. Now we're back in the building. And I stand outside and I see young people going back and forth. And I'm like, are you working? Are you working? And it's like, no, I'm not old enough yet. But I'm like, all right, stay around us, though. You know,
Yeah.
just stay around and absorb some of this energy, because these young people have stories to tell. And with Future Focus Media, we train people in videography, photography, and this year we're introducing website building, where the young people will learn how to build websites. So that in itself is tremendous for young people to get involved in doing something they like, and then learning how to get paid from it. We're a co-op, so you learn how to do proposals, submit budgets, and to get yourself going where you become a business.
Well, I could tell you, you're one of the groups that we know does great work with young people. We also work with a variety of other youth serving programs, both as part of Youth Work, Summer Jobs, and others. And we've got some new pieces as part of that. It's state funded, and our partners from the state through the Commonwealth Corporation have developed a work readiness component that has been very well received, and that component will be built into the first couple of days of the Youth Works program. So.
Yeah. And Commonwealth Corporation actually came to our office yesterday to host a training for all the facilitators of the Youth Works program, because they're going to be implementing this new training, which went through with the Youth Works year round, and now is going to be in the summer program. So I had a chance to sit down with the facilitator of that training,
Sure.
Jennifer Applebaum. So here's that interview now. All right, we're here now with Jennifer Applebaum, the program manager at Commonwealth Corporation. Jennifer, how are you doing today?
I'm good, Sean. Thanks for having me.
So Jennifer, today you're here in Worcester at the Central Mass WIB office doing a training for this summer's Youth Works program. Can you tell us a little bit about the training you were doing today?
Absolutely. We were taking the time to train some of the professionals in Worcester that are going to be working with young people to make sure that they're ready for their summer job experience. So we like to make sure that young people have the opportunity to not only work this summer, but also to get some training so that they'll be ready to go in and do a great job, and also then follow up and explore their career options afterwards.
And then there's some new elements about this year's program. I know that last summer there was also a training curriculum, but now they've kind of tweaked it and it's a little bit different.
Yep, so in the past, a lot of programs have used parts of Empower Your Future, which was a training program put out by a Commonwealth Corporation. And young people really used, a lot of facilitators took pieces of that to help young people train. But what we noticed from studies with employers and also feedback from people in the field was that we really needed something a little bit more structured. So last fall we started putting out a curriculum called Signaling Success, and this summer we're continuing with that based on a lot of feedback that we got from the year-round program.
And so I heard you mention some employer focus groups. So what were those? Did you just have some area employers together to kind of go over the Empowering Your Future curriculum and then change it, or was there a different structure to it?
No, actually this was part of a larger study that was conducted by Commonwealth Corporation and Drexel University. So Nancy Snyder, our president, and Paul Harrington, a professor at Drexel, really undertook this project to interview over 200 employers in Massachusetts and then in other states and do focus groups and find out why they weren't hiring young people. So teen employment's about half of what it used to be, and the big question for employers was, why aren't you hiring these young folks? And a lot of what they said was that young people are seeming like really risky hires. Like they might not show up, they might not be on time, they're not as likely to follow through with job behaviors. So it's based on this research that we wanted to go back and take a second look at our curriculum and make sure that we could say that what we're training young people to do matches what employers want.
Lowering risk.
Lowering risk, increasing performance, and making sure that young people are clear about what's expected of them and how to communicate that they know that expectation, and then also how to use that to their own advantage.
Okay, and today's training wasn't for the youth, it was for the facilitators who will then train the youth. Were they going through the same training, or I noticed you guys were doing some fun stuff in there. It looked like you had some charts. I heard people laughing, all sorts of stuff. So
yeah, we really do a mix of it, so we try and make sure that the trainers get an opportunity to experience some of the exact same activities that the young people will, but then also we like to step back and have the trainers do some activities that allow them to explore their own opinions and really work with other people in the room to be collaborative about how are they going to make this fit their program and best fit the needs of their young people, because there's a lot of expertise in the room, so we want to make sure to take time to tap into that. So it's a little bit of a mix.
Yeah.
Some of what the kids would get and some time for adults to really talk about how does this fit and how do we make it work.
Well, we're excited to see how how it pans out with the youth. I know we had a lot of success with the year-round program, and we're hoping to continue that success with the summer program.
Absolutely. We're absolutely excited to be here in Central Mass because there's a lot of strength in the programming here.
Great.
It's great.
Well, thank you for taking a couple minutes to talk to us. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, that's again, that's an interesting program, and the way that they put it together is good because it does give a lot of local flexibility
Yeah.
to having those local trainers kind of given the overview of the program, and then they take it back locally. And we had people from all over the area coming in yesterday to
Yeah,
that
there's
training. So it's
40
great.
people, and like I said in the interview, it really sounded like they were having a good time in there and really connecting. I could hear a lot of laughter out of there. And
Yeah.
people coming out with smiles. So
Well, they try to deliver it all in a fun way, and so it's learning, but you're also having a lot of hands-on activity too.
Yeah.
So the young people appreciate that. So well, it's our pleasure right now to have as a special guest on the show the executive director here at WCUW Community Radio, Troy Tyree. Thanks for taking the time to come on.
Oh, you bet. And thanks for having me on. I appreciate this.
So tell me, how long have you been the executive director here?
Let's see. It's 6 years now. 2008, I guess it is, when I came on board, June of 2008. So just that, 6 years.
Excellent. And I'm sure you do a little bit of. Tell us a little bit about your role here. And we have some sort of caller, and see that you're on, and we're already getting calls, excited calls
go.
from people. It's
Well, we're excited by that Willie campaign, by the way. Maybe we can talk about that in a little bit here.
Sure.
But, no, I'm the executive director. It's my pleasure to help oversee the what goes on here at WCUW. We have over 70 different programs, 100 volunteers. I am the only paid staff person. And we have a loyal base of support that comes from us, to us from the membership at large, and support as well from our underwriters. And we luckily, we own our building that we're in, so we also receive a little financial support from some right next door from our tenant.
Oh, that's great. So, but I didn't realize over 70 programs
Yes.
on and 100 volunteers. So that's quite a bit to coordinate for one paid staff person.
It is, and fortunately, though, there are folks that have been here, such as Bob, the engineer of this very program, who hosts the polka party on Saturdays from 2 to 4 p.m. He oversees the polka programming that is also with us on Sundays as well. A lot of dedicated volunteers, some folks being with us for upwards to 30 years in the programs that they have. Other new folks coming in. Even today, we were training a brand new individual to get involved with radio here in some form or another.
So do a lot of people that get involved, is it they want to move into a career in radio or get experience, or is it just like they want to do something in the community, or a bit of a mix? Or?
It's truly a mix. WCUW is community radio, in that if you have something you would like to share with the community at large, be it music or information, etc., that's what we're here to do, to be here of service for that individual. And we try to accommodate to the best of our ability within the time frame or the structures of what it is that they're interested in doing.
So
some
a whole
folks-
variety.
A whole variety.
In that 70
we have a young individual here. She's actually still in high school, and she very much wants to have a career in radio. So it covers the gamut.
What's the, not necessarily right now, but in your tenure here, that you've seen, like some of the more offbeat shows that you've been involved with having on?
Boy, that's a good one.
I see there's a poster for Tales of Vampire Life over there, and
yes, that's the Radio of Horror, actually, which broadcasts here Sunday mornings or
not
Monday.
to be confused with this show.
Right. With Chris, actually, he's with us on Monday mornings from midnight until 2 a.m. And he's interviewed an amazing amount of people. He tries to get an interview every week with different folks that are involved in the horror industry, shall we say?
Interesting,
Yes,
yeah.
book writers, film producers, etc. And it's really very entertaining. It's almost more of a talk show than a music program per se.
Yeah.
And he does all the conventions.
So it sounds like a little bit of.
So we have the Radio 4, of course. The Sounds of Scotia is with us as well. The Irish Four Green Fields program. A lot of world music, a lot of contemporary music as well. Folk,
the Irish show
bluegrass,
there.
blues.
You
it's
knew
all
that.
with
Jessica
us.
knew it was coming. She knew the accent was going to be attempted. So tell us a little bit about how you got involved in the job that you
Well,
do.
I actually back in the, I was trying to think what year was it, actually. I think it was about 1978 or 77. I'm actually from Fort Wayne, Indiana. And Loretta, who was on a little earlier here, with the jukebox, actually just came back from a visit to Indiana. It was really kind of fun to hear her praise of the countryside, which is really quite nice. But anyway, I left Indiana when I was 25, but I did start doing radio there. I think I was about 22, maybe 23. A friend gave me a challenge to see. He wanted to give up his jazz program, and I was looking for a challenge, so I accepted it. And I had my very first radio show, I guess it was 1978.
A jazz program?
A jazz program. Indiana Purdue University was a
Are you a
college
big
station.
jazz fan? Is this something that
I
was a
had
challenge
a
that you're
clue.
not?
I did not have a clue what jazz was when I took that show on. And I ended up staying with it until 1982 and actually building quite a knowledge base, of course, and then the listenership with that program. And when I moved to Massachusetts, Somerville, of course, I started looking for where I could do radio. I found Tufts University and ended up there on a jazz block on a Saturday morning. And then when I moved to Worcester in 1985, I discovered WCUW, and kind of the rest
is history.
I volunteered here up through 2000. Ended up over at another radio station for a little while here in town, and coming back in 2008.
Oh, that's great.
As director.
So what's the thing that you most like about your job?
The interaction with the individuals, the diversity. No day is the same. Although the program schedule may be consistent, each program is totally different, just due to the nature of the programming.
Well, we appreciate. I know
here.
when we approached you, a couple of years ago now, about doing this show. There were a lot of logistics to work out and a lot of things, but your willingness to give us a chance. You took a risk on this plucky young staff from the WIB.
Well, you folks have been doing great with this. I wish you could be here every week.
Well, maybe if I had, you should see the mad scramble on like Monday and Tuesday. What's going on this? So, thank you for your time to be on.
Sure.
Is there? So you've got the big event with Willie Nelson coming on.
Right.
Before we leave though, I did want to before we get into that, and I do want to get into that. Just any advice for someone out there that wants to get into radio and what you might.
Well, for one, they should definitely come visit, come say hello. We do have, on our website, WCUW.org, there's actually a volunteer application form there that folks can fill out, in the comfort of their own home. That's emailed to me, and then we pass that on to our volunteer coordinator.
A great way to get hands-on experience. And
yes, come in and get get exposure to what we're doing here. And then see if we can figure out some way for folks to
what you're doing here,
in.
tell us about the Big Purple Button and Willie Nelson.
Well, we just started our summer campaign, member campaign. We do 3 campaigns a year. This is how we survive. It's that we're looking to raise $7,500. And we are working with Indian Ranch, actually. As time goes on, we'll be giving tickets away to all the shows at Indian Ranch, virtually all the shows throughout the summer. And it's going to be capped with...
The Beach Boys might be coming later, too?
I heard that. I'm just hearing that, but perhaps I wouldn't be surprised.
Sean has an excellent a cappella voice. I think, are you in the a cappella group?
Used to be in the a cappella group.
Yeah.
All right.
High school group. And loves the beach, does a lot of Beach Boy covers. So
Excellent.
maybe someday we'll convince him on the air to
sing a song? So anyway, Willie was just at it.
Exciting,
we were. So we had, we've been planning this member drive, and then the Willie show came along, and working with them, they're allowing us to have a pair of tickets to put into this raffle or this sweepstakes, shall we say, and anybody can contribute any amount, be it $1 or nothing. Actually, you can enter with a postcard if you wish.
Wow.
Just call us up, and we'll take your name and put you in the drawing. But anybody who does contribute, which we hope folks will, any amount, will be entered into this drawing. They'll receive a pair of passes to the Willie Nelson show. That's September 20th, 2 p.m.
legendary performer, right?
Exactly. And they'll also receive a season pass to John Henry's Hammer Coffee House. Another career I have had over the years is
now,
actually...
tell me about that. I'm not familiar with that.
John Henry's, it's over at the First Unitarian Church, 90 Main Street here in Worcester. And it was a long-running coffee house for many years, up and running, volunteer staffed, etc. and then it just kind of
died
went
out,
to the wayside. And my background, actually, I've done a lot of music concert promotions, productions, etc. around the area over the years. And anyway, so in conversation with an individual over at the church involved there, we said, well, let's try to revive John Henry's hammer.
Wow.
And so WCUW.
Now, who's John Henry? That's
John
a name-
Henry, I'll be honest with you, I'm not quite sure of his
Like
of
a
the
famed
reference of the
folklore,
word
right?
of famous folklore, but I
Yeah,
can't
we'll have
answer
to-
that
we'll
at the
have
moment.
to do
I have to do
research
some
on that.
research on that.
Well, here's something
But,
we also do. Speaking of research, our crack research team.
Could I just wanted to complete the so
Oh,
the
sure.
So the folks that get the ticket, they enter for the drawing and the tickets, and then they also will be entered into a season pass to John Henry's. And that night we have the bluegrass band, the Blackstone Valley Bluegrass, and Erica Brown coming in. So
cool.
on September 20th, they go see Willie Nelson,
And
and then
then-
they go over to John Henry's Hammer that night. So
Look at that. Oh, that's excellent.
thank you.
Well, what we do with when we have guests on, we like to give them a little quiz.
I get
we
the
play a little
quiz.
You get the quiz.
I
so-
don't know about this.
It wasn't about John Henry.
We should have, had we known this was going to come up. But according to Celebrity.com, Cindy Crawford, the model, Cindy Crawford, her first job was a corn shucker for a restaurant in Illinois.
Okay.
2, a 1-hour photo lab assistant. Or 3, she worked in an assembly plant putting together watches.
I would like her to be shucking corn.
Well, sir, I don't know if video exists of this or photo proof, but you are correct. She was a corn shucker in Illinois. It's just
Yeah,
so there you go. We all start somewhere, right?
I guess.
Well, thank you for taking the time
Oh, sure.
out of your day to come and talk to us. And again,
And please,
we
folks,
appreciate the support.
anybody hearing, watching this, go to WCUW.org and complete that volunteer form if you're interested.
And please make your donations
and hit
to,
hit the
become a
big
member
purple
too.
button. Yes.
And membership has its privileges, and certainly we've thoroughly enjoyed our time here on the air with WCW. So thank you
Good.
for that privilege.
Thank you.
Okay, sir, I think we're going to take another quick break, and then we'll be coming back with some more of the working lunch here on WCW 91.3.
We're back now.
Just taking a stretch there. Did you see that?
Yeah.
A little stretch out. So,
Live radio.
Interesting
Live
stuff
radio.
there with Troy.
yeah, I'll tell you, fascinating job. He's got that's quite a large amount of oversight that he has to provide.
I know,
obviously.
for just one person.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Absolutely.
Like Jason Katz.
Exactly. Yeah, you're exactly right. So, 100 volunteers alone
Yep.
and 70 programs, that's a lot to have on the plate, and he does a great job juggling everything. So, we want to move into a segment about we were lucky enough that the state workforce system runs, as you know, in connection with our local partnerships here at the boards, career centers, part of the America's Job Center Network. So here in Central Massachusetts, we have 3 career centers, workforce affectionately known as Workforce Central Career Centers. And so the state, in launching a publicity campaign to let people know about the services offered at the career centers, had the secretary doing a series of visits throughout the state. I think she did about 4 or 5 different visits, and she came to Central Massachusetts and was hosted over at the Milford Career Center.
Yep.
And of course, we've had their manager, Jonathan Cortez, on the show a couple times. And so during that event, the secretary made some remarks that we wanted to share with our listeners. So again, this is the Secretary of Labor giving remarks at the Milford Career Center about the services they provide there in the launch of the promotional.
Good afternoon. Now, I've actually already been here. I've already been to this career center, so one of my goals is to get around to all 33 of them. And so far, I'm on a pretty good tour, like on a road show, seeing a lot of the different ones. And what the good thing is sort of how much happens here, how they are hidden gems. Not always I didn't. Lots of times it is, a very important part of the community for the job seekers, particularly in those higher unemployment. But in each one of our 33s, we have terrific programs to help job seekers and giving them options to see what their next chapter is. And here, one of those options we're going to talk about today, in the particular lens, is giving them options on how to be their own boss. As you might know, that we've had over 248,000 job seekers and employers come into our career centers over the last fiscal year. It is no longer that idea that the career center is a place you come to file for your unemployment. That's gone the way of the dinosaur, but much more that these are places for next acts and new chapters, and ways and tools and pathways to help get them there. So our career centers have provided services to more than, since this administration began in 2007, wait for it, 1.4 million job seekers, 81,200 employers, successfully placing 650,000 people into successful jobs. And with that, we want even more. We want to increase traffic to our career centers, connect more residents with employers who have job openings. That is a key part, region to region, is who's hiring, what are they hiring for, and how do we get people looking for work trained and ready to step in to those myriad industries in different parts of the state. So, we're going on a campaign. And over the next 2 months, you're going to be seeing and hearing a lot about our services. Messaging in English, Spanish, and Portuguese has gone up on billboards in over 60 communities, on trains, buses, commuter rail, South Station, North Station, touting what it is we do, connecting people with jobs. We have our website, new, improved, more user-friendly for Career Center services that will contain testimonials on how these services have helped our many customers and how to easily find a center in your respective communities. So anyone who goes to monster.com will see our digital ads. We have public service announcements being produced and sent to TV and radio stations, as well as YouTube videos. Everyone under 35 watches YouTube videos. They don't try anything with us first seeing this YouTube video about it, so I think that's going to get a lot of looks. And to show folks their first steps on how they, what they can do once they've lost their job. So I want to now show you our little video. We're going to learn about Kim.
This is a story about Kim, a working mother of two who lost her job when her company merged with a competitor. Kim has worked as a customer service manager with the same company for the past 12 years. Kim needs help to look for a job, so she's turning to her local one-stop career center. Kim has come to the right place. Massachusetts one-stop career centers across the state offer a wide variety of free services to help individuals land a job. The first step is for Kim to complete a questionnaire. Next, Kim attends a Career Center seminar to learn more about the services offered by the Career Center, the job search tools available, and the state and federal resources for which she may be eligible, including employment and training opportunities. Kim also learns how to create a career action plan, which maps out the steps she needs to take in her job search. After attending the Career Center seminar, Kim meets with a job advisor who interviews Kim to assess her work history, education, skill set, and preferences for her next job so that she can match Kim to the appropriate services at the Career Center and with potential job openings. Kim's advisor helps Kim stay focused and on track with her career action plan. It's like having a personal job coach. Kim is encouraged to participate in the free workshops. Career centers offer many workshops from resume writing, interviewing skills, networking, PC training, and even how to dress for success. In Kim's case, her resume is outdated and does not highlight the breadth of her experience. Kim attends a resume writing workshop and receives hands-on assistance from the workshop leader, a certified resume writer. Kim also learned how to network with friends and family and establish an online presence on social media like LinkedIn and Facebook. Technology has changed the way everyone works. Career centers can help job seekers explore training opportunities to update their skills, become certified, or retrain in a new occupation. Although career centers have limited training funds available for eligible individuals, Pell Grants and loans may offer an option for funding training costs. While Kim wants to stay in the same industry, she has also considered going back to school to update her skills. Training will make Kim more marketable in this competitive job market. Many employers work with career centers to recruit and hire employees. Each month, career centers host on-site recruitments to connect employers with job seekers. Kim has already attended several events hosted by her local career center and others near her. At one event, she had an informational interview with a recruiter, which resulted in an interview with the hiring manager. Kim finds the Career Center services very helpful. She applies all the techniques she has learned, hones her interviewing skills, and takes advantage of the resource room services like PC, printer, fax machine, and labor market information to research companies. After a persistent search, Kim has successfully landed a new job. Kim's journey illustrates what many job seekers experience when they walk into the One Stop Career Center. Anyone can take advantage of Career Center services, no matter the age, education level, experience, skills, or length of time away from work. Veterans receive priority of service. Other individuals may receive specialized services.
The Massachusetts One-Stop Career Centers across the Commonwealth offer a wide variety of services for individuals looking for employment. In fact, last year alone, over 100,000 individuals who came to the Career Center for services were successful in finding employment. We hope this video helped you learn more about the full array of services available at the One-Stop Career Centers across the Commonwealth. So, if you're looking for a job, you'd like to explore training opportunities or access specialized services, stop by or call a career center near you.
Massachusetts One-Stop Career Centers, a proud partner of the American Job Center Network.
That is exactly what we do here. And our goal, and we believe this is a very conservative goal, is to attract at least 10% more traffic to our career centers through this outreach initiative. So last year we had 100,000 people that connected with jobs, so it stands to reason the more visitors, the more placements, the more work, the happier families we have out in our regions. And I think we're going to do better than that because a lot of people just don't know all that we do. And it is not just the first stop, it is the second, third, fourth, until your final stop is that of good and meaningful work. And as Governor Patrick has said many, many times throughout his career as governor, when all sectors of the workforce do well, the Massachusetts economy does well. And that includes populations who have to climb heavy barriers for good paying jobs, like people with quarries, people with disabilities, people who are coming out of military service where it's less obvious how that skill set will translate. And that is why we are here. Why we are here working with them, with our highly specialized skill set on our staff, and in connecting with our other state resources, employers and our community colleges. And we've come a long way in just a few years on how we're bringing in the community colleges for training, for access, for and a dialogue with the business community, what they need, how long they need it. So when I talk to employers, they'll say, oh, I don't have enough people to do medical coding. And then the next question is, what do you need to start to go into the program? How long is it? What does it pay? And to answer those questions, you need some idea of how the medical community works, whether you're a CNA or an orderly, or you know it in the environment of a medical community, which is a whole lot of people. You then have a 9-month training program, and out of that 9-month training program, there are 20 jobs available in and around Worcester County that pay upwards of $20 an hour. That is real progress for something we really need in our Massachusetts economy. And the good news is that's just one small slice of an example. So one of my pledges in this job is to talk to the business community as often as possible, and not just what you need, but how can they help us develop the curriculum and really what the time frame looks like, and that we can help them with our career readiness initiative with what we are sending you, whether they are silver, gold, platinum trained. This is what you're getting. So it's all of that, alignment and appreciation for what it is we're trying to do. And I thank all of you for the work that you do, because every single day I get out of bed and I know what I'm doing matters to people. And I know what I'm doing is going to be meaningful in their daily lives. And that is all of you. We all do this. So thank you for doing what you do. Thank you for being on our team.
So that was great. I mean, it's quite a feather in the cap over there at Milford to have the secretary there. It was a great event, well attended. A lot of local business people came out for that.
Awesome idea too. I think getting away, really promoting the services that Workforce Central and all the one-stop career centers have is really the key.
Yeah, paramount to get out there and let people know what those services are.
Yep.
As a follow-up to that too, the secretary is planning to be on a taping of the Workforce Central
Ah, yes. Exposure with Mosier.
Television show, Exposure with Mosier. So that should be happening in July too. That's
Yeah.
another exciting follow-up event too. So there's a lot going on, as usual in Central Mass with Workforce, and it's just great to have that scene.
Yeah, I saw the one of their one-stop career center billboards on 290. So
it's getting out there.
The message is out there.
Well, I think it's time for mailbag. Let me see if I can
Cue up the
are you
tune.
ready for the theme song to mailbag?
Mail time.
Well, there you go. That's quite a
Everybody's favorite part of the show, where we reach into the mailbag and we pull out an email or a letter from one of our listeners. Which I should remind people that you can send an email to theworkinglunch@wcuw.org, and once a month we like to answer one of those. So this one actually spoke to me because I could just sense the stress behind this email. It's from Brenna in Northborough, and she writes, "My son needs a job. What can he do?" It was just short, sweet, to the point. You could tell she just, I need to get something off to these guys.
Unfortunately, there's not a whole lot directly that we can offer Brenna right now. The YouthWorks program is full and has a significant waiting list of applicants. But, I can say in general, some things that we've learned through the research with employers that Commonwealth Corporation and others have done is really to make sure that they're signaling to employers that they're a good fit or a good candidate for those jobs that they might have.
And how can they do that?
Well, one thing is, obviously dress for success when you're going to an interview. So for a young person, maybe a college shirt with like khaki pants, or for a young woman something suitable, business casual. But definitely maybe a step above jeans and a t-shirt, right?
Gives off that great first impression.
It gives off a great, very, very, that you're
with it.
Yeah. The other thing is go alone. Don't bring your friends.
Yeah.
You don't want to make this a social event. This is a business calling.
What about Brenna? Can she bring him? Or if she does, should she stay in the car?
She would want to stay fairly far away from that process. You don't want to appear that she's forcing him to go, or that she's, kind of going to be speaking on his behalf. What he needs to do the job himself.
Right.
So he needs to be the one that's really initiating the process by himself. So, it'd be a big kind of no-no to have. Now, certainly, if there's family connections with an opportunity that she can kind of tap into, that's great. But when in terms of like cold calling a business, it really should be her son himself that should be doing that, and not her.
Right.
And then going on the interview, it should be him walking in by himself, not escorted by a mom and dad or friends.
Yep.
The other thing too is remember that every step along the way you're making your first impression. So, as you're coming in to the supermarket or to the store, if you see some litter, pick it up, pick it up, and tidy up or whatever. Show that you recognize the value of what they're trying to create as a place. Everyone that you come in contact with, treat very respectfully. It might be a receptionist. It might be, someone who's a frontline staff person. You never know who's going to be providing input to that hiring decision. So, the best I can say offer at this point would be to kind of canvass for her as a parent to kind of look out through her network to see if anyone knows anyone hiring. B, if anyone have him kind of canvass the retail shops, the cinema, the shops that
traditional first job, summer job,
traditional hire young people, and again dress up, maybe bring some contact information sheets, if not an actual kind of maybe a resume. It might not be the job that requires a resume per se, but it's nice to kind of have a something they can leave behind with their name on it or whatever, and a bit about themselves, and maybe what school they went to, what projects they've worked on or programs, so they can signal again to that employer that they're ready for success and to help them grow their business.
That's good advice.
There you go.
Well, there you have it, Brenna. So again, any questions can be sent to theworkinglunch@wcuw.org, and we'll sift through those each month.
You got it. Well, speaking of advice, we did want to also talk about some other things that have come across our desk. I saw here a story on Yahoo.com that was about things to leave off your resume.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of interesting, kind of an interesting topic, and things that you might. Some of it seems fairly straightforward, but considering that your real estate on a resume is kind of tight.
But is it still considered one page? Is that
Well, as you
the
get up in
standard, or
experience, 2 pages is okay. I think you need to convey.
but you don't want a book?
You don't want a book, and so where possible, like it says, hey, leave off like in your bullet points, responsible for dot dot dot. It's like that just though that word, it doesn't really convey too much. So it suggests that you go ahead and save that space, and get right to the meat of it, like designed whatever, or prepared dot 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 report. So.
Oh, I see. I forgot we have a certified resume professional here
Yes, we
in the
do right
studio
here.
with us, so we should
Certified.
tap that resource as well.
One resume doesn't fit all.
Right.
So
right.
there's
You
a
really want to
fluid
customize it, right?
fluid piece of paper that should be revised for every single position that you apply for.
That's true.
That's key.
It also says to leave weird formatting off. So if you've got like something very, highly creative or very creative or weird, you might want to tone that down.
I think especially for an online resume, and I took a workshop one time. They said if you're submitting your resume through an online format, sometimes some of these weird formatting things can actually screw up your chances.
That's true, because it won't kind of sort through. The other one is very old experiences. So if you've got something like 20 years ago, it might be harder to kind of relate that to relevancy to today's. So.
And with that, there's one piece to that is that if it's pertinent to the position you're applying for, you could use it, but not just to locate everything. Like starting, for me, it would be 50 years ago.
Yeah.
And list all the jobs that I've had 50 years.
Yeah, you don't want to think that.
None of them may apply.
Yeah, you want to really pick and choose, and again, that real estate is pretty valuable on that resume. The other one is what they're terming a laughable email address. And there's a couple of things on that. One is the address itself, right? Like a silly name at whatever.
Yeah, like killer, or killer at so and so, or
I drink at my job,
or sweetie pie.
That one would not be a good one either. Yeah. So and the other thing though, but a more subtle thing to that is try to use an email provider that's pretty current in the market to signal that you're kind of with it. So if you use an older email address, again, it might signal that you're not kind of with the latest trends.
Oh, okay.
So
that's very interesting.
Yeah. The other one was too much information or excessive information dating back to college and about specific things you did as a student versus when you get out there. So certainly, a couple things to highlight, if you were in an honors program or, an internship that was special or what, or some sort of honor, but, just talking about, took this class, that class, went on a field trip, those kind of things probably aren't as relevant to your job search.
Yeah, there's a lot to resumes, and if only there was like a free class somewhere available that you could take, like at the Career Center.
Yeah. The last one. The last one they have on here, which I thought was interesting, was your home address. And depending on, and this one might apply more to if you're applying for jobs like out of state or a little bit further away, that may screen you out if they consider you to be, hey, you might have the background, you might be a good fit, but he's out of state, so we're not going to try to pay to relocate, or we want a local person. So it might be better initially to leave off that and just go with an email address and use that as a contact. So some interesting advice there. Bob, anything to add to it as a certified resume?
No, I think so. When they talk about balancing the black and white, is that you don't want to overload it with print, so you want it easily readable.
Yeah, and certainly a font size that's too small to read, magnifying glass.
In the background, you guys do not hear it this week, but in the background is our closing theme.
So we've done it again. We've successfully managed to fill up another hour.
All the time.
Of Workforce Talk.
Thanks to all the listeners and viewers for joining us again.
Remember to keep those emails and coming with your questions.
Yep.
And enjoy the 4th of July.
Enjoy. Have a great 4th of July, everyone. Thank you.
Take this job and shove it. I ain't working here no more.